sick vandalism. That is a deliberate mutilation of a public service message. Now, I want those little paint-happy bastards caught and hung up by their Buster Browns.
That's it. Goodbye. I'm not going to waste my time arguing with a man who's lining up to be a hot lunch. I'm going to see you.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
This is Cheap Seat Reviews.
Hello, and thank you for listening to Cheap Seat Reviews, the podcast that explores the Hollywood film industry for the greater good. This is episode 135, and today we're talking about Jaws. That's right, the Skype hiccup on that, Sam, and it sounded really creepy. Yeah, sounds just like that too. Sorry. Episode 135, and we're talking about Jaws. I said that. Yeah. You, the listeners, have spoken. So our October film set has been made, and that was the number 2 boat getting as of the time we recorded movie. Yeah. So there you go.
And it's a classic.
It is a classic. It's 1970-something, 75's Jaws. I am Sean Orrid, and joining me tonight
No,
is...
you're not. Shut up.
Oh, okay. It's what my underwear says. I am Sean, and joining me tonight is... Sam, you really are in a mood, aren't you?
Yeah, this is going to be a weird one.
Is this going to be one of those where you're going to argue with me for no reason, even though, like...
Probably. I'm in the mood to just, destroy... I'm chaotic evil tonight.
Oh no, I'm going to say something like, man, the shark looked really real, and Sam's like, no it wasn't, it was clearly fake. Is that what's going to happen tonight?
Yeah, more than likely.
Oh, it's okay. That's fine. It's par for the course. Maybe not. Maybe it's bogey or something. I don't know. Andrew, going to need a bigger boat, Jemison.
Hi there.
You should have done something that was like Massachusetts related. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been.
Yes, I could have.
I don't. Yeah.
I was going to do the Family Guy. I can see up those shorts. And we'll eat that hairy leg. Dun it, dun it. That one.
Yeah.
But I decided not to.
Oh, well, I'm glad.
Although I guess I just did it for you anyway.
Well, I'm glad that you did both of those. At some point, Corny, chum, Logan will join us. We needed to hit record because when we record,
late.
Yeah, we record late in the night because we all have day jobs and whatnot. So Corny will join us at some point in the show. He just has to come from one side of the town to the other. So whenever he gets here, we will welcome him with open arms and teeth.
And a life jacket.
And a life jacket, yeah. And Sam, that's some bad hat Harry Vector.
Here's to swimming with bow-legged women.
Yeah. Thank you.
I could choose many of Quint's little things there.
Yeah, for the 8 words that I actually understood him through his accent. Yeah.
Yar.
Yeah. Between his Irish pirate talk, man, he was rough.
Yeah, I had to turn on the subtitles for that one.
Yeah, I thought about playing the game of what did he say, but I realized it would take all night because there was probably 5 or 6 times, even during that really emotional, really great monologue he gave about the USS Indianapolis. I was like, okay, I'm just going to go back and listen to it again because I don't know what the heck he said that time. So I figured it out most of it, but it still was a little challenging. So let's pull up a comfy chair on the beach and let's dive in.
How about an Adirondack? There we go.
Yeah. So let's dive in to this one. This is Jaws. 1975's Jaws. Steven Spielberg directed this.
Spielberg.
And I had not realized until I read the trivia how flippin' young Spielberg was when he directed this movie.
He was like 8 years old.
Yeah, or add 20 years to that. But yes.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we're all of us in our 30s, and
we have wasted our lives.
And
gentlemen.
he, at the age of 28, made an Oscar, nominated film. Like, my gosh.
Yeah, best film.
I feel so kind of useless.
At 28, I think I was still hungover from college.
Right. Yeah, no joke. I mean, 28, what the hell was I doing? I was working at a theme park. Like.
You were a costume animal.
What? No, I wasn't. No, I was never. I would never in a costume. I'm too big. We're all of us were too big. My gosh, like, if we would have put Corny in one of those, if you could have put Charlie Brown on, Charlie Brown would have been like.
The neck would never. Yeah, the neck would never connect to the body.
Yeah, he would be like 6'8", and you would see Corny underneath. Yeah, the neck and like the arms. Yeah, and the waist area would have been. He would have been terrifying. It was pretty funny though, and this isn't talking about him because he was there. But during the scare ones, the kind of Halloween thing when we transformed the park. He did wear one of it's like a harness that you wear, and then the costume is above you. So they're already tall.
Oh, it makes you even taller. Good Lord.
Right. So the ones that the people that usually wear these, you have to be strong because they're tall, right? And they're like, the costume itself is about 8 feet tall. So when you put it on someone like Corny, who's 6'3", I mean, this costume is so massive that he actually had a hard time walking around the park because he kept hitting like tree branches and things like that. So they had to put it on someone else. And
that's scary. Seeing some sort of ghoul getting caught up in a tree.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And the thing weighed, I don't know, you have to ask Corny. I think it weighed like 40 or 50 pounds. So 40, 50 pounds that's on your shoulders. Your weight is on your shoulders and your kind of on your waist because it's like a drum, like a harness that goes around your waist and then on your shoulders. Yeah.
Like not a timpani, like a quad.
Like a drum. Yeah. I didn't know if people listening would know what that means, but maybe you do. But anyway.
A drum is something you hit with a stick, and you generally try to hit it with a pattern so that it goes along with the music you're playing.
Is that what a drum is?
I wish somebody would tell my percussionist that.
Yeah. That would probably make Andrew's life a lot easier if his drummers knew that. So anyway, but yeah, no, Spielberg did this movie at the young age of 28, and that's flipping awesome. So I'm really excited to talk about this movie. I can't imagine this is anyone's first time viewing of this.
Actually, the first time all the way through, yes.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, I've seen it before. Yeah, once though, just once.
Really?
Yep.
Wow, this seems like. This is one of those movies that just is on, it was like on like the UPN, a whole bunch in the 90s. I just kind of feel like, it was Saturday morning, TV. I think I remember, I don't know if it was HBO or something, but I remember sometime in either the late 90s or early 2000s, they did the 4 Jaws movies like in a row. And so I binge watched all 4 and remembered thinking that the first one is amazing and the second one was kind of dumb because I only remember the ending, like how they kill the shark. That's all I remember.
In the second one or the first?
The second one.
How'd they kill it? I've never seen any of the sequels.
Okay, so the second one, again, it's the same thing. Like, it's the same characters, right? Brody is in it. Like, Roy Schneider's in it.
Quinn.
No, he's obviously not in that. Damn, he ain't going to be in Jaws 2.
He's part of the chum.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
So anyway, it's a new shark, right? And he comes and it's the same island. Only this one's way more involved with his kids or whatever. And anyway, there's a scene. The way he ends up, the climax is he's in a dinghy. Seriously, he's like in a little rowboat, and the shark is chasing him, and he's accidentally drops the anchor into the water, and the anchor hooks the power cable that powers like the lighthouse on that island over there. And when he pulls up the anchor, he's got the power cable in his bare hands. And then the shark comes out of the water and he throws the power cable into the shark's mouth, and the shark bites it and then electrocutes itself.
Oh, that's dumb.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid. And then the third one was Jaws 3D, which was really terrible. And I don't remember much of it other than it comes like it crashes through like the underwater habitat that they built or something. And then the fourth one is supposed to be Brody's son, and they kill it by basically spearing it with a boat. It's real dumb. So my point is,
hey, isn't that a Little Mermaid?
It kind of is, actually. Yeah, it's actually very similar to that. What they do is they make the shark either eat or they tag it with this like electric whatever, and he hits a button and it sends a shock through the shark and it hurts the shark. And for whatever reason, when the shark writhes in pain, it literally comes out of the water and like rah, like it hurts, right? Because that's what a shark would do, is writhe in pain out of the water. And
of the water.
Right, and they time it just right. This is all spoilery, but no one cares. And it rises out of the water, and that's when they stab it with the boat. It's real dumb. So my point is, if you're going to watch a shark movie, only watch this one. Or Deep Blue Sea. I think Deep Blue Sea is actually worth watching. But
yeah, that's a pretty good one. That's on Netflix too, you know.
Yeah, that's a little more CGI shark, and I think Sam Jackson gets. I think he gets eaten. It's a trope, right? You know, the black guy's got to get eaten by something. So, but before we talk about any of those other movies, we must talk about Jaws. Andrew hopefully has words to say about Jaws.
When a gigantic great white shark begins to menace the small island community of Amity, a police chief, a marine scientist, and a grizzled fisherman set out to stop it.
Yeah.
Grizzled, huh?
He is grizzled.
Grizzled.
Yep.
I guess that's a good definition or a good word to describe.
It's a good descriptor.
I don't know if is that a seaworthy? Grizzled? Isn't there another way to call either crusty or
barnacled?
Well, the way that he describes it is
That's exactly right.
But I say grizzled. So
yeah, no, grizzled is a good word for it. Anyway, I'm gonna stall. We're gonna chat a little while. Hopefully, we're gonna get Corny in here before we do our kind of initial thoughts. But some of the things I want to mention, just hit on real quick. This movie marks a huge milestone in Hollywood. Did either one of you know what that is by chance? If you didn't read the trivia.
Sorry, Skype just took a dump on you. I don't know what you said.
Oh, I was saying that this movie holds basically a record, a milestone, a monumental thing in Hollywood, and I was wondering if you guys kind of would like know what it is.
Well, I know
it's a whale of a tale.
Ah.
It was like the largest summer movie or something. It kicked off the summer movie craze. If I remember right.
Yeah, this holds the distinction of being what you would consider the first summer blockbuster.
Yeah. Is that it?
Well, sort of. It is the. Okay. Andrew, do you have any kind of guess?
No.
Okay. It holds the distinction of being the first ever $100 million movie, as in that's how much it made.
It made. Okay.
Yeah, it made $100 million. Again, that's not inflated for the time. It made in 1975 with only showing on 400 theaters $100 million. That's super impressive. Yeah. So, yeah, this movie has great impact, not just on film in Hollywood, but also in the world itself. I mean, that little island of Amity is it's that place. Martha's Vineyard in Massachusetts.
Martha's Vineyard, yeah.
Like that place like quadrupled in popularity when they filmed there after this movie came out. And you know, just like when the CSI TV shows came out, everyone was like, "Oh, I want to be a CSI person in college, you know." And then they found out that it's mostly just dusting for prints. It's not like cool sciencey stuff. So all these people are like, hey, I want to be sharks. And so like there's a flood of shark majors now at the universities and stuff. So
actually, believe it or not, I have a cousin who is a marine biologist that studies sharks.
Cool.
Believe it or not.
I do believe it. That sounds very cool.
It's a dirty freaking lie.
Oh, good Lord. I just did the inflation calculator.
Mm-hmm.
This movie was in 1975, right?
Correct.
Made $100 million then.
Mm-hmm.
If the same amount today would be $447 million. I guess that's fair.
Yeah,
$447 million.
According to IMDb, as of wait, what? That doesn't make sense. As of worldwide by 1975, it was worldwide. It was 470 million. So it made almost $500 million in 1975.
Yeah,
that's crazy. And
okay, so that's $2 billion, 126 million.
Gosh,
$2 billion.
Yeah, I know.
Wow, dude, are movies making $2 billion? I know we've got $1 billion movies now.
Yeah, no again, forgetting inflation.
Yeah.
Because like movies like I would bet movies like The Wizard of Oz, if you account for inflation, would be, I don't know if it's $2 billion, but it would be a lot because of what it was, and it's been in theaters like 5 times.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, we found 5 extra minutes of film. Let's re-release it in the theater, you know. So
yeah, that's just that year. Yeah, this is not what Netflix is paying them. This is not the Time Warner Cable or whatever that, they were always on.
Yeah.
This is, wow. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It is crazy, and really fascinating in what they did. So it won 3 Oscars. This movie, it was very highly. It won Best Sound, Best Film Editing, and Best Music, and then it was nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah.
Of course, John Williams. Oh, I got some great trivia about the soundtrack. You're gonna love this stuff, but you must wait. All right, well, let's just go ahead and do our initial thoughts while we hopefully.
Sure. How about this? Why don't you do some trivia?
You want to do some trivia now? We can go completely.
Yeah,
out of
let's
order?
do some trivia and then we'll dive on in because we can do trivia without Corny.
All right, that's fair.
That's okay.
No, it's fine. Let me just scroll all the way past my notes, past the tropes, into the trivia. So it means I got to go past.
So no, never mind. I don't care. Just
So
go back to what we were going to do. Yeah, let's just do what we think.
Oh, okay. I'll scroll all the way back up. No,
Wait. No, let's just do trivia. Let's do trivia.
Listen, it's really hard to scroll up and down the script here. Like I'm gonna need you
He's
to
not
make
using a Mac anymore.
That's right.
Yeah, this
He's in a world of hurt.
Yeah, this PC mouse actually has a ball on it. So not
was it made in 93?
No, not the trackball, but like the wheel,
okay.
the scroll wheel, but it's an actual wheel. I'm used to my Mac Mighty Mouse thing, whatever it's called. I hate you, Sam.
All right. There's got to be some good stuff on this because I know that it was like the worst movie making experience ever for poor Spielberg.
Yeah, there was a lot of that. There's a lot of that trivia. I didn't put down a lot of it just because it kind of got repetitive. Of basically,
this sucked. This didn't work. This sank. This did the
Yeah, like the boat that they made for the production was not seaworthy, and the boat that they made to sink was. In fact, they sank the boat that they didn't mean to sink. So, like they had stuff like that. The film crew actually threatened to strike and walk off set.
Oh wow.
The actors they played Quint and what's his name? Crap, I forgot. He's great. Richard Dreyfuss legitimately did not like each other. Like
Really?
Robert Shaw and Dreyfuss like legitimately don't like each other, and it kind of helped them acting is because they're basically arguing in real life. Shaw was known to be an alcoholic, and so after so he would try to he actually tried to act drunk because that's how his character would be. Well, he would forget lines and get belligerent. And one of the things that was really great, I'm trying to remember if I wrote this one down or not. I don't remember. No. Anyway, the monologue that he does about the USS Indianapolis.
Indianapolis, yeah.
He screwed it up like 10 or 15 times and wasted basically a whole afternoon of filming because he was drunk and yelling at everyone. And when he sobered up that night, he felt so bad about it. He called Spielberg on the phone and was like, look, I screwed up. I thought I could do it with alcohol and it would make the scene better. Can we go do it tomorrow? And we'll do it. That scene we saw on film, he did in one take.
Wow.
He did it. He said they did the one take, and then Spielberg was like, perfect, cut, print, check the gate, moving on. So
that's kind of like us tonight, after our first take.
Yeah, we always do everything in one take. Or you mean the belligerent part?
The belligerent part.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They're trying to do it drunk and then having to sober up overnight.
Right.
And it's a Wednesday instead of a Tuesday.
Yeah, we're all kinds of screwed up. No, so I'm trying to remember some other trivia before I actually read the ones that I wrote down, because there was some other really good stuff like the nickname for the shark was Bruce, which is why the shark in Finding Nemo is called Bruce, because it's an homage to that.
Name's Bruce.
Yeah.
And it was Spielberg's lawyer, if I remember right.
Yeah. The shark itself only has 4 minutes of screen time, which is great because he's so good at that. He's so good at building a world in which these things exist, and yet you barely see them, and they're terrifying.
How many minutes? 4 minutes?
Like 4 or 5 minutes of screen time. Yeah.
Hey, he did kind of the same thing with Jurassic Park as well.
Yeah, and the shark has 4 minutes of screen time. That's what I wrote down. Because exactly. Like Jurassic Park, there's 17 minutes of sharks in the whole movie or something like that. Dinosaurs, not sharks, but dinosaurs. In the movie, there's very little.
Oh, there was kind of a shark in World.
Jurassic World, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. Don't mess with that thing.
Which is why they were feeding him great whites, was kind of an homage.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. If you say so, I believe you. I have no idea. All right. So some of the stuff that I wrote down was when it was initially released in the summer of '75, over 67 million Americans went to see the movie, making it the first summer blockbuster. And an accident during filming caused the Orca to begin sinking. Spielberg began. I only wrote this one down because of me, or for me, I should say. Spielberg began screaming over a bullhorn for the nearby safety boats to rescue the actors. John Carter, already up to his knees in water on the sinking Orca, held his Nagra, which is a very expensive tape recorder that they used during the time, over his head and screamed, "F the actors, save the sound equipment." During the accident, the film camera was submerged, so its film, still submerged in seawater, was flown to a New York lab where technicians were able to save the film. The accident was described starting at around an hour 30:07 in the making of Jaws on the 30th anniversary edition. So about an hour and a half into the movie, there's a couple minutes of film that was at one point underwater, which is kind of cool. Did you guys notice the shooting star during the scene when Brody and Hooper are outside on the deck, and there was a little shooting star that went through the screen?
I saw 2 of them.
Say that again?
So they're outside. It's at night, right? It's kind of duskish. Yeah. It's after the first day of fighting, and they're kind of relaxing on the deck. And they're just chatting or whatever. I think that's kind of what's happening. There's from right to left, a shooting star shoots across the sky. Totally real. Totally natural. Yeah. I noticed it the first time I saw it. I thought, "Oh, is that what the heck was that?" I thought it was like an error in the film, like in the transfer. I mean, from to Netflix, and so I went back and watched it again, and then I was looking for it in trivia, and sure enough, it was an actual thing, which is kind of cool.
I'll have to check that because I've now seen it twice, and I didn't see that either time.
Yeah, it's where Brody is loading his revolver. That's what it is.
Okay.
Arthur Peter Benchley, this is the guy that wrote the book that the movie is based on, was thrown off set after objecting to the climax. I think that's kind of crazy. I don't think I wrote this
just
one
like
down.
Sean's first girlfriend.
Yeah. Was she thrown off set or was I? Oh, the climax. Okay, I'm with you there. Okay. Wow. She said, "Really? That's it?" And she threw me out. That's what happened.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
Yes, it happens. Performance issues. 1 in 5. Sorry, that's my Avengers.
Boom under the horse.
Boom. What? Oh, weird. There was another really good one. So Spielberg was actually not the first director on this movie. They had another guy, and when he was doing his pitch to the author and then the producers, he wanted basically to do a retelling of Moby Dick. And he kept calling it The Whale, and they fired him because he didn't know the difference between a whale and a shark.
Oh, God.
I know, right? That's pretty funny. Sam, I wrote this one for you. Spielberg always considered Jurassic Park to be a sequel to Jaws, but on land. People saw differences, though, where the latter focuses on character development as much as on its creature. The former only used the dinosaurs to sell the film and not the characters. So, I don't know who wrote that trivia, but it's someone that didn't really like Jurassic Park.
Apparently.
Yeah, someone's got a little grudge against Jurassic Park. I don't know why.
It's a little more opinionated than fact-filled there.
Yeah, exactly. So I think both films are great, and they have their place in movie history. I think personally, Sam, this is nothing against you. I think Jaws is a better kind of movie for the genre, kind of the horror kind of genre. Yeah. I don't think Jurassic Park is horror, though a lot of people consider it. I just think it's kind of a cool sci-fi action-y film.
I do that.
You know, like Alien, the first one, is a horror film. Aliens is not a horror film. It is a violent sci-fi actioner, you know?
Yep.
I don't know, because like, I guess my thinking is that, like, I don't know. I just never... Well, we talked about Jurassic Park because we obviously did it for the show, but you know, I don't think they're two different types of movies. Anyway, which is good. Roy Schneider was trapped in the sinking Orca. When Roy Schneider was trapped in the sinking Orca, it took 75 takes to get the shot right. 75. Jeez. Okay. Just got a text from Corny. This is live. Corny just sent me a text and said, "Finished without me. I just dozed off at the stoplight." So he's obviously extremely tired after a long day. So we will not have Corny tonight. Hopefully he's safe. That's what matters, as long as he gets home safe.
Yes. Well, and he generally doesn't like swimming in the ocean, so this is not up his cup of tea.
Right? Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe. I mean.
Is that a racist joke?
No, I don't think it was supposed to be. I think I've heard him say he didn't like swimming in the ocean before.
Well, he actually has said that to me before. When we were getting ready to celebrate my 30th birthday, we had my wife and I had talked about doing a cruise, like a weekender cruise, getting a bunch of friends together, and we asked him, and he was like, "Hell no. Bunch of people on a boat in the middle of the ocean. What's wrong with you?" So he said some other colorful metaphors in there. I'm not going to repeat, but basically he would not do that. So anyway, we will soldier on without him. So let me finish trivia, then we'll circle back to our initial thoughts. The beginning of the show.
Where I wanted to start in the first place.
Shut up. It took 75 takes to get the shot right. Schneider did not trust the special effects teams to rescue him in case of emergencies, so he hid axes and hatchets all around the cabin just in case. So he could break through the boards if he needed to. That's pretty great. This is interesting, and I'm super glad this wasn't in the movie. In the original novel, Hooper has an affair with Brody's wife and is killed by the shark in the cage at the end. However, because the relationship between Brody's wife and Hooper was considered by many to be irrelevant to the plot, which it would have been, and arbitrarily included in the novel just to quote-unquote sex it up, it was omitted from the film script and Hooper was allowed to survive. So, there you go. And there's actually another part of the trivia that goes with that. Part of the other reason why he was allowed to survive is they were going to film his death. Because if you remember from the movie, there is a scene where an actual great white is attacking the cage. That's a real shark. And they went to California or whatever. They had it was a captive shark. And they put, chum and crap, whatever, all over the cage, but it had a dummy scuba person that was supposed to be Hooper, and they couldn't get the shark to attack the dummy. And so when the shark finally got pissed off enough to attack the cage, the dummy had fallen out. So literally because of that, that's why Hooper lives, is because they couldn't get the shot right. So he was
originally intended to die then.
Yeah, like Spielberg had filmed it kind of a just in case moment. But and directors do that. You film scenes that or probably never make it, but you just do it anyway. So we're gonna rewind 30 minutes of this show and say, Andrew, your initial thoughts, sir.
All right. Well, as I said initially here, I had only seen bits and pieces of this up until yesterday when I watched it, and I sat down and watched the whole thing all the way through, and I guess because I had seen bits and pieces of it, and I kind of knew how the shark bit the dust in the end, or bit it in the end. There was no suspense for me. And I think had I not seen it, I think that it's such an older movie and everybody kind of knows about it. And, I had been on the ride and was at Universal Studios. Mm-hmm. And so I knew the background, but there was no suspense. And judging this movie, kind of not really judging or comparing, but as far as horror movies go, The Exorcist and this one don't compare in my mind at all. Mm-hmm. This just wasn't very frightening to me. Now, the thought of me actually being in the water, that's a different story. I don't do the ocean. I don't swim in places where I can't see the bottom. Plus, when I take my shirt off in public,
Sam gives me such grief for
violently
that.
Sick.
Yeah. What was that, Sean?
I'm the same way about the freaking ocean, and you gave me grief for weeks about it. And Andrew says it, and you're just like, nah, yeah, it seems reasonable.
Well, it's okay. Yeah, and it's Andrew.
Exactly.
Yeah. Sean, you're just unreasonable.
Your face is unreasonable.
But as far as the movie goes itself, I did enjoy watching it, except for the parts with Quint, which I did not understand at all. I literally had to go back and watch a second time, then go back a third time with the captions turned on so I could understand what he was saying. And to be quite honest, even then, I still missed the point of what he was saying. And I felt like it was kind of just added in there to give him something extra to say. It didn't add anything to the story, other than the fact that he
here's my big question.
A little background with sharks.
On that is a lot of these 70s movies have talking for talking's sake. I mentioned it before. I can't remember if I told you guys in the group or whatever, but it's like, they were just standing around murmuring. They were, it was just odd conversations. Like the dock scene, when the doctor gets to the dock, or the shark guy gets to the dock, and everybody's there taking pictures of the shark. and it's just a whole bunch of people talking at once. It's just a weird. You don't see that in movies much anymore.
No.
I kind of wonder if those scenes are almost improvised scenes, where the director says, "All right, guys, just talk about stuff. Here's some talking points. Talk about it. How would you naturally respond to this incident? Go." And I feel like maybe that's completely wrong. Maybe all of it's scripted completely 100%, but I could see that happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would doubt actually that most of that is scripted. I would bet you're right that Spielberg's like, all right, so this is what we're going to call, we're interrupting a conversation. So just talk about these things. Like that woman is like, I don't think that's very funny, and just things like that. Like there's a lot of talking over each other too.
Yeah.
And as a sound guy, who's worked on film, I hated that because it's hard to understand, because. I mean, our brains have a hard time distinguishing multiple things like that. And I mean, there's a reason why when you're like in a big crowd, you huddle into small groups so that you can hear just single conversations, So that kind of stuff is annoying, but you're right. I think it's a thing of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of that weird quick editing happening that I noticed from The Exorcist also.
Yep.
Like as soon as they finish the line that needs to be delivered, boom, we're on to the next scene. There was like movies today, there's a lot of these, they get finished talking and then the camera shows you the sunset. And then we flip to the next scene where we have an establishing shot of whatever, and then we get into it. There's a lot of that happening now. I don't know if it's lazy or what it is. Just that's what we're used to now. So when I go back and watch movies in the 70s, there's a lot of that, and it feels to me, to my growing up in the 90s as I did, brain, it feels awkward. But
it feels like wasted time sometimes.
Yeah. So, but it's whatever. It's of the time period, so it doesn't bother me. It's just I notice it more.
Yeah. Do you feel like that? Even though that's, like we said, of the time period, and even before that time that happened in movies, do you feel like that's more realistic and less of what we have today? We even when we record our show, we talk over each other occasionally, just trying to get points across. Yeah. And when we're in groups or in a meeting or whatever, you don't allow not always. You don't always allow someone to finish
or a presidential
complete
debate
thought. Right. So, I mean, I feel like it's partially just a Hollywood trend, or not trend. I don't know the word I'm looking for, but you know what I'm trying to say. It's just Hollywood trying to make these movies to where we understand everything that every actor is saying, and there's not a lot of, and even when there is a lot of commotion and chaos or groups talking, they have edited it down so that we hear the main actor's dialogue and not the background sound.
Yeah. I think it simply comes down to money. I'm paying Channing Tatum $7 million to do a stupid G.I. Joe movie. So you background actors are going to be the hell quiet so we can know what he's saying, and then we'll add in background noise later.
Yeah.
And so, but again, in 1975, you couldn't do that. I don't think. I mean, I guess you could fake noise. That's certainly not hard to do, but I think it was probably easier to do it the way they did it, and it didn't bother me. It was whatever. It's fine.
Yeah.
Were you done with your thing? Because.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
I know we went off on that tangent, but
speaking of talking over people, sorry about that, Andrew.
That's okay. No, that's fine. It was a good tangent. I liked it.
Yeah.
I tell you what, Skype is just awful tonight because you both, like in your little weird apology you just did to each other, you sound both like robots right now. It's really freaking me out. Anyway, sorry. And Sam.
Yes.
Your initial thoughts, sir.
Oh, okay.
Did you forget what we were doing here? I know it's weird because we're 45 minutes into the show and we hadn't even done that part yet.
Yeah. I grew up in Florida. I grew up, 45 minutes from the beach on either side, the Gulf and the Atlantic, and I have no fear of the water. Going in doesn't bother me. I like to go out as deep as possible, where I can kind of still touch and kind of jump over the waves. And the first time I saw Jaws, it was a while ago, and it never. I'm kind of with you, Andrew, where it never really freaked me out in terms of scariness factor. There was a few jump scares, the head popping out of the what do you call it? The view into the boat when he's diving. Yeah, and then, and then of course the second jump scare, the shark jumping out while he's chumming, kind of got me, but I was never really horrified in the movie. There's been other horror movies. I was more horrified in The Exorcist the first time I saw it than I was Jaws either of these times I've seen it. But I still enjoy it. It's a neat little, if you may allow me to say, sea shanty of a tale of this idea. The mayor and his outfits were just I don't know. Do people really dress like that? I guess
I'm sure they did back in
maybe
1975. Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved his boat anchor coat. I want that.
But it takes a while to get where it wants to go, and Spielberg in a lot of his early movies did that a lot. If you think of Close Encounters of the Third Kind,
yeah,
it took a while for anything to happen in that movie, and it kind of does the same thing. And it was funny. I was watching, and they got to where all three of them are on the boat, and I'm like, good Lord, this is a 2-hour movie, and there's an hour left. I didn't realize how much time was devoted to them, those three on the boat and chasing the shark. And the second time watching it, you kind of have to start thinking about all the technical details that they had to deal with. They didn't have these really nice underwater camera rigs, waterproof stuff, stabilizers. Like you said, Sean, the sound equipment was basically hitting record on tape there. And I thought for what they had and what came out of it, Spielberg did one heck of a job. And there's no wonder he's one of the masters in Hollywood, because he got a pretty darn good product out of a pretty horrible situation.
Well, he has even gone on record and said that his biggest mistake was thinking that he could conquer the elements. That he was better than nature. Well, nature kicked his ass a couple times, and and frankly, he said we should have just filmed it. There's a giant kind of water tank in northern Hollywood that they do all these movies on. Like they did a lot of Waterworld. Hell, they filmed.
Truman Show.
Yeah, well, I guess probably. Yeah, I mean that actual water scene they probably did. But if this pisses you off, I don't really care. But they filmed a lot of an inconvenient truth in that water tank. Okay, so just saying. But anyway.
Oh, poor polar bear.
Yeah, that was. It doesn't matter. I'm not gonna go there. So yeah, that was one of his big things. Was like, we should have done it in a tank because it was so hard on the crew, and like the salt water kept screwing up with the sharks, and a lot of that kind of stuff. So to your point, Sam, yeah, I mean, the final product is amazing, and then you take into account, gosh, like the crew is on the boat with them, and they are in the Atlantic. They're not in the safety of a water tank. They are literally in the ocean, and they had to sail out far enough so that the cameras wouldn't accidentally see land. Because Spielberg wanted the cast, not the cast, but the audience to feel stranded and disconnected, because he didn't want it to go, oh, if we're in danger, we could just walk to the land. Like, you're out there with the shark. And so he wanted people to sense that fear. Sorry, I just chimed in there, Sam. Or you were still...
No, I'm pretty much done.
Okay.
It was a pretty good flick. However, it takes a while to get there.
Okay.
Yep.
My turn. Well, actually, I'll give you what. Shut up. I'm going to give you what Corny sent me. And from Corny's words, Jaws was iconic, and it gave us some awesome one-liners. It also taught me to stop fearing animals because there's always a way to kill it.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Unless it gets you first.
Yeah. Yeah. So, my initial thoughts are this. I think this movie totally holds up, 100%.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. It probably has been 10 to 15 years since I watched it all the way through. I think the first time I watched it all the way through was with my parents, and that movie affected them way more than it did probably us, because they saw it in the theater, and my mom at the time was living... Where was she in 75? She was at East Carolina. So she said after that summer, she didn't go to the ocean for probably 2 years after this movie came out. Because it just freaked her out. So, and I remember that. I remember her telling me that. Is this movie the reason why I don't like to really go in the ocean much? No. My own personal reasons and experiences. The reasons
because you're wimpy.
Yeah. Oh, that's whatever. But a good friend of mine from once told me, I will never get eaten by a shark because I don't go into his kitchen. The only way I'm going to get eaten by a shark is if he comes into my kitchen, because I'm not going into his. That's what she says. So I'm with her on that. I'm good with that. So,
but you wouldn't even eat shark because you don't eat fish.
Well, you're right. I don't eat seafood.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Strange man.
Well, that's fine. I mean, we all have our differences. We all have our things that make us unique. Each unique little snowflake.
Some are just more sane than others.
More sane, once again, says the guy who threatened to light me on fire. On a podcast. On a podcast. That is forever in the internet.
Interwebs.
Interwebs. On the internet that Al Gore made.
If you should ever find yourself on fire, you'd be like, you know what? I bet you Sam did this.
Those will be my final thoughts as I'm burning to death. Not screaming, somebody put me out. It's going to be
a contemplative pause.
Somehow Sam triggered this gas leak in my car. Anyway, I really love the movie. The soundtrack that John Williams did is flipping awesome. And I forgot to read that part of the trivia. Crap. I just realized it. This is the best piece of trivia ever. I think this is amazing. Now, again, we are 4 years before Star Wars, right? So John Williams was not a known commodity. He was coming up. He had made a couple movies at this point, and
like Spielberg.
Yeah, and was starting to people kind of noticing him. And there's kind of a funny trivia when he was given the Oscar for best soundtrack. He was actually conducting the orchestra for the Oscars, and he had to stop conducting, walk up on stage, accept the award, go back down to the pit, and then continue conducting, which is brilliant. I love that. And interesting that they didn't have a backup plan in case he won. But anyway, couldn't the one guy just stand up and cue? Anyway, but here's a trivia that I think is just wonderful. When composer John Williams originally played the score for Spielberg laughed at him and said, "That's funny, John, really, but what did you really have in mind for the theme of Jaws?" Spielberg later stated that without Williams' score, the movie would have only been half as successful. According to Williams, it jump-started his career. So Williams basically said, "Hey, you're gonna have to trust me on this. This is gonna work." And good job, Williams.
Absolutely,
that's just fantastic. Anyway,
could you imagine? I mean, any other theme? I can't imagine any other theme would work.
Who would have thought just a minor second? Would change him as a composer and change movie music altogether.
Right. Well, you're right. Now I would argue and will argue that his Star Wars score is more iconic than this one. Because these types of movies, Jaws, horror films, and things like that, still used orchestrated scores. But sci-fi was not doing that in that time era. I mean, Flash Gordon and other... Yeah, thank you. Wait, hold on. I didn't mean to make... Crap, where is it? Shoot. Damn it. This is a... Oh, I've lost the gag. Anyway, so people weren't doing film scores, so that's why I think that what he did for Star Wars was better. But but that doesn't mean that this wasn't still amazing. And I had forgotten that there's so much score that's not just bottom. Mm-hmm. You know, like there's like some really fun kind of almost, you know, like seafaring, beautiful, like it's more than just the 2-note you know, scary music. You know, like there's some other really stuff. You mean Flash? There you go. Sorry, it took me a while.
I was wondering what you were going for.
Yeah, it was the very last tune or thing, a clip of my soundboard.
I thought you were asking Chad why things were so different now.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I guess I could ask Chad if I can get my keyboard to work here.
It was a different time.
Oh, thanks, dude.
Yeah, there he is.
And Andrew did not.
Then I would have hated it. But
he didn't. So anyway,
technology, love it.
Great. So, I liked the movie a lot. Sam and I have gone many of arguments about this type of thing where you say, actually, it's not you, Sam. It's actually somebody else I've argued with. I get you guys confused sometimes because you both make dumb arguments.
What? It's only dumb because you're losing.
No, I'm not losing this one. What movie did we watch recently?
Exorcist?
No, before that we watched. Crap.
Avengers?
I got
babysitting?
Hellboy.
Hold on. Give me a second. Some of All Fears, Batman vs. Final Girl, Lethal Weapon 4, Jurassic Park.
Nymphomaniac.
Contact. That's what it was.
Oh, yeah.
This other guy's name is Mike. He, I think, occasionally listens to the show. So if you're listening to this episode, Mike, hey, buddy, and you can suck it. He hated Contact because to him, Contact was long and boring, and it was a 2.5-hour point just to get her to meet Dad on the beach. He hated Contact because to him, it was slow. So...
Okay.
So that was my point to you, Sam, is that you said it took a long time for things to happen. I liked the build-up.
But it's character development. I never said it was a bad thing, but it just takes time.
Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure that I'm saying, to me, I liked it. I liked the build-up. I like watching Brody kind of this landlubber, fish out of water, pun intended, trying to, which is a trope, but he's us. He's the audience, right? He's in this weird place where, you know, everyone walks around with their shirt off and they have weird accents and the mayor is weird and whatever. So I liked all of that, all the tropiness of the town, that the town is 100% dependent on the income of you know, visitors and whatever, and you know, it's this tight-knit community where everyone knows everyone, and people can just walk up to the sheriff and just say whatever the hell they want to him. And, you know, like, guy comes up while he's on the beach trying to do his job with no shirt on, and he's like, hey, there's somebody parking outside my house, and, you know, just, I know that small town, I liked all that stuff. This movie did things that was, I think, kind of daring. Like, they killed a child in this movie. Like, that never happens. You know, you don't kill children in movies because
and a dog.
And a dog. Like, my gosh. So that I thought for, you know, 28-year-old Spielberg that did, you know, that remastered E.T. and put radios instead of guns would not have done that.
He's apologized for that, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
That was when he was caught up in the weird George Lucas time, you know, George just changing Star Wars, making it tamer and
he also said
mess.
when he did it, he said his reason was because his kids were now old enough to watch the movie, and he was afraid the guns would seem a little aggressive and scary. Now, granted, like they originally had like assault weapons and things like that, so I kind of get how that might be a little whatever. But excuse me, sorry, you know, I thought it was more scary when they were in the bio suit thing and they had Elliot and the E.T. all hooked
absolutely
up. That was more scary than weapons. But anyway, whatever. E.T. is a Jedi. That's all we need to know.
Hey, never mind.
Okay.
I had a joke, but I forgot what it was.
Oh, E.T. was a Jedi? Is that not the joke?
Yeah, no, never mind.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, okay, fine. So my initial thoughts is that I loved it. I loved the movie. I really did. I thought it was great. I think it holds up, and it's great. And now I'm going to go through some of my notes. Like, I'm so used to North Carolina beaches. Now, Sam, you grew up in Florida, so you've seen Florida beaches. I have only swam in either North or South Carolina beaches, which are basically the same thing. And then a couple times, or once, on my honeymoon, we swam off St. Martin, which is very different.
Yeah.
But that's Korea.
The Atlantic side is not much different than the North Carolina beaches of Florida.
Okay, I didn't know. I didn't know if because like with North Carolina, you go out about 300 feet and then it just drops. It just goes down to the Atlantic shelf, whatever you want to call it, and then it's whatever. Whereas like the Caribbean, it's like super shallow water. You walk out 300 feet from the water and it's like 40 feet deep. So but that's kind of what this reminded me of, is that it seemed like even when they were out fighting the shark, it only ever felt like they were ever like 30 or 40 feet deep. But that was like those were like the calmest beaches ever. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like
that was more of the Gulf. Yeah, the Gulf side is incredibly calm.
Right. Yeah.
In terms of waves and people being able to just kind of hang around.
Yeah, but they filmed that in Massachusetts, so that's clearly where they were. So it just seems strange to me. Again, just not used to it, just because I'm from down here. What?
I'm scared.
Well, whatever. In fact, the last time we went to the beach, Declan, my son, and I went into the water, and he actually didn't want to go in the ocean. I was like pulling him to get into the water, and he only wanted to play in the sand. He wanted.
Well, with full honesty, the last was it a year ago? I went to the beach here in North Carolina, and I felt awkward in the water only because there were so many freaking shark attacks that were happening during that summer that it finally made me self-conscious of where I was in the water. But I mean, I'm still out there.
Yeah.
And I'd still dive underwater and grab Kimberly's legs, and she'd scream bloody murder and threaten to kill me.
Yeah, as she should. Nails on a chalkboard bit. I thought that was whatever.
That was kind of dumb.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of dumb too. Does that work? I don't know. I mean, who knows? We all have dry erase boards now. So,
I had boards when I first started, and you have to do it just right. You can't do all 5 fingers.
No, yeah.
Let's just say that. Yeah.
Interesting. We do have
focus on 1 or 2.
It's actually interesting. Chalkboards are making a big comeback in colleges now.
Really?
Yeah, because for something like for professors that actually have to write on boards a lot, who don't want to just use projectors and slides and stuff. They actually are like doing mostly like sciences and your maths, your STEM, I guess. They like chalk. They like the way it, for whatever reason, it cleans better or whatever. It's weird. I don't know. Like a lot of we have 2, I say I don't work for them anymore, but at Charlotte, 2 of the newest buildings have chalkboards. It's really interesting.
Oh.
And they're big, like you would see in, what movie did we watch?
Good Will Hunting?
Yeah, just like Good Will Hunting. Huge chalkboards that roll. You know, so like you take, I wrote a bunch of stuff on this one. Now I want to roll on the other one. So then you slide it up and the other one kind of comes down. They're like on a counterbalancing lever system. It's like that. It's very cool. Anyway, brand new building though, like 4 or 5 years old, new building. So anyway, sorry. What? I get, so grieving mother. Okay, this scene kind of bothered me, right? The kid dies. She's pissed. I get it. She comes up and she's in her black and whatever, and everyone just kind of stands around and she slaps Brody. And and she's sitting there and she's like, she's saying the things that we as the audience are saying to the TV. She says, you knew and you did nothing. But she's saying it to the wrong person. The mayor is standing next to him. She should be slapping the shit out of that guy. Because the chief of police still has to answer to the government, the local government. You know, like the chief of Charlotte can't just do whatever he wants. He still needs the approval of the mayor and the city council and things like that. So, sorry, people, for my coughing things. I don't know what's happening. I'm dying.
Okay, Hillary.
Right. Oh, yeah, sure. So she slaps him, which was funny because in the trivia, like she was afraid, she didn't want to hit him, and they couldn't fake the slap to make it look real. So the scene you see is her actually slapping him, and the first take when they like just slap him, it knocked his glasses off, and they all started laughing. So anyway, I don't know. It just kind of, again, I understand that she's pissed, but that should have been directed at the mayor. But the reason why it's not is because we hate the mayor. He's a douche, and he doesn't really get his until towards the end of the land part of the movie, when he realizes that he screwed up and that his kids could have been the one out there on the boat that almost got, like that guy that got his leg bit off or whatever. So when the mayor has this breakdown, then you kind of feel sympathetic for him, kinda, So there are very few likable people in this movie, truth be told.
Well, I mean, the sheriff is pretty much the only one.
Yeah, the sheriff, right? You like him, and you like Mr. Holland's Opus, and
even Richard Dreyfuss was kind of full of himself.
A little bit,
Yeah, I mean, he's the smart college kid, but I got frustrated so much at Quint for doing the thing that we now in America hate, but do it all the time, is we mock knowledge. I don't know why we do that as a culture, but it's starting to stop, I think, a little bit. But you see so many people like, oh, look at you over there, you know it all. Like, yeah, make fun of me for going to college, dude. Sure. So,
anyway. Quint's not half the man he used to be.
Nice. Spielberg did do a lot of cool underwater POV stuff. I thought that was pretty clever. Filming underwater with those film cameras would have been probably pretty awful because those cameras are heavy as hell. It's a good thing the guys with the guns waited until the quote-unquote shark decided to surface instead of just shooting it like most people would. Like when they had the fake one, they would have been unloading their ammunition into the water. Because why would you think it was kids?
Yeah.
They guess the film didn't need to have another horrible scene happen, but
I think if they did it today, that might actually make it into the film.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Who knows? And then that's what triggers the shark attack, is the blood in the water because they nicked a kid or something, Make it even worse.
It's horrible.
I know. I wrote LOL foreshadowing. They talk about how the tank could blow up and that sharks will eat anything. If Chad were here, may he rest in peace, he is a certified scuba diver and would tell you that those tanks not only won't blow up, but the worst that could happen is if you break the valve, it would just shoot around like a missile, but they wouldn't blow up.
Like in Jumanji.
Jumanji. They did that in Jumanji?
Yeah.
I don't remember an air tank in Jumanji.
They were in the.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, the sporting goods store. Yeah, and he used it as like a weapon against the old British man.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't. I need Andrew to do the old British man. Were you?
Red belt.
Yeah, were you with us on that one? I can't remember.
I was not.
Okay. You were not born yet amongst us?
No, I wasn't.
I'm trying to remember when we did Jumanji. I can't remember. It was when it was really sad. Yeah, episode 31. Yeah, it was a while ago.
Wow,
it was 100 episodes ago. Jeez. So think about it this way. Over 100 episodes have come and gone since Robin Williams left us. That's
sad.
It really is sad.
Wow.
To put it in that kind of terms. Darn. All right, now I'm all depressed. Because I liked.
He was still with us when we did Good Morning Vietnam.
Oh, is that one? Oh, you're right. Yeah. No. Robin Williams. That's right. Goodwill.
Oh yeah.
Not Goodwill Hunting. Good Morning Vietnam was the one we did for Robin Williams. Jumanji was for James Horner. When James Horner passed away, he did the score for Jumanji. Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you guys just saying yes because it sounds right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's not in my notes here, so whatever. Sorry. Going back and looking at notes from over previous movies is actually pretty funny. I'll do that on my own time.
Good radio.
Yes. World War II story was great. Oh, yeah, guys bonding over booze and scars. I didn't get it until the trivia, but you know when Brody lifts up his shirt and kind of looks down at his scar?
Yeah.
Do you guys get what was happening?
Was that like from an appendix surgery?
Yeah. So, like, he's kind of looking woefully at his, like, oh, all I got is an appendix surgery, had an appendectomy. When I first saw it, not first time, when I saw it this time, I thought, oh, well, he's talked about several times being a New York cop and the streets aren't safe and, like, all these things. So, like, here are these two bozos talking about getting scraped by sharks and eels and stuff, and here he has, like, a gunshot wound, which is what I thought it was. You know, like a completely different out of their world kind of violence, right? And you know, so he's this gunshot wound, and then it turns out that it's just an appendectomy. I like my version better, so that's what I'm going to pretend. You know, Cage was clearly a bad idea. Quint was a douche, but damn, what a terrible way to go. So it's whatever. Those are my notes. You ready for some clips?
Let's do it.
Here we go.
They're in the yard, not too far from the car.
Boston accents. In fact, my parents quote that still today whenever they hear anyone with a Boston accent. That's what they always say. They usually say park the car in the yard, but yeah, it's the same thing. Sam, this is your middle name.
Some bad hat, Harry.
There you go. I like that.
Some bad hat, Harry.
In fact, it's a production company called Bad Hat Harry. And if you guys ever watched the TV show House, at the end of every episode, they had a little cartoon with him saying that in the background there's a shark fin.
Interesting.
Yep. This is 20 seconds of Richard Dreyfuss saying some good stuff.
Gentlemen, the officer asked me to tell you that you're overloading that boat.
You ain't going, man. What do you care? Hold on.
Well, then, can you tell me if there's a good restaurant or hotel on the island?
You walk straight ahead.
They're all gonna die.
But Andrew, there's more of that what you're talking about. There's like 30 people talking in that scene, you know? Like today, one guy would respond. And
you know, something else I've noticed is, and they do it in today's movie and some of the older movies, but more so in today, you'll see people moving around in the background and you'll see their lips moving, but they're just miming what they're actually doing.
Oh, yeah. Because you don't want to screw up the dialogue. I'm going to tell this quick story because I don't know if I've told it on the show before. I'm sorry, but I'm going to tell it anyway. We were filming it was a dinner scene in one of the movies. I don't remember which one it was. And one of the background extras decided that he was going to take matters into his own hands. So he's on a date, right? His character, again, background extra. He's just sitting across from a pretty girl. Again, he's just in the background. And on take about 7 or 8, so as the sound mixer, I have my own. I get my own viewfinder of the camera. So I'm watching to make sure my boom guy doesn't drop into the shot and whatever. And all of a sudden, my eye gets. I see this kid in the background, and he's choking, like having like convulsions and like choking and grabbing his throat. So I stand up and I'm screaming like, "Cut, cut, cut!" And I'm like, "Call the ambulance!" That I literally like stand up and start screaming, because the director and the camera guy, they're focused on the actors who are acting, right? The people that we're supposed to be looking at. And so we all start to rush over to this kid. He's like, no, I'm fine. I just thought it would be funny if the background guy started choking. And then the director was like, you cannot do that. You can't pull focus away from the actors. Don't ever do that again. You're just sitting here, just pretend to eat and pretend to talk. That's all you do. And just like blasted this kid. He was so funny now. But at the time, we were all pissed. We were really pissed. Like, you just wasted a take. So anyway, some 17-year-old kid thought it would be a good idea to pretend he was dying on camera. So anyway,
this could be my big break.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Spielberg is gonna see this and cast me in his next movie because I pretended to die in this $7,000 low budget film that we made. I guess it cost that much, maybe more. I don't know. This was kind of a funny little thing.
What kind of a shark is it? Gee, I don't know. I think it's a macaw. Got a deep throat, Frank. Yeah, but what kind? What kind of shark?
It's a tiger shark. A what?
So because of that, I now have
a what?
From now on.
A what?
There you go. Is that a trope? People, I mean, like, don't you think fishermen would know some stuff about that kind of stuff? You know, like, that seems strange. Like, I mean, I guess if these are all just amateur fishermen, then maybe not. Maybe that's fine. But it just seems strange that he said tiger shark and that guy had no idea what he was talking about. I thought this was kind of funny.
Where are you going?
We gotta find him right now. He's a night feeder.
On the water?
Well, if we're looking for a shark, we're not gonna find him on the land.
Yeah, but I'm not drunk enough to go out in a boat.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
You can't do that.
Yes, you can.
I like that. That was nice. An iconic line, as Corny would say.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
That's right. Gonna need a bigger boat. And the I told you that the author got really pissed off at the climax of the movie, saying that he didn't think that it was believable that he would blow up the shark with an air tank. And Spielberg literally said, this is according to the quote that I read online, that I will have had the audience's attention for 2 hours. It won't matter if it's believable or not. The audience will be good with it. And I love Spielberg, but that little bit kind of is like, okay, wait a minute. Now you're doing the thing that I hate when directors are like, the audience is too dumb to know any better. You know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, Spielberg is great.
Fold the painting into a briefcase.
Yeah, just it's fine. Don't worry about it. Anyway, here we go.
Well, you son of a...
There you go. And good thing that tank was filled with explodium. So there you go.
Red explodium.
Red explodium. Yeah. Tropes I wrote. So horror trope, right? Sex leads to death, or in this case, the attempt of sex leads to death. More concerned with money than people trope. The Quint is basically every hard ass trope rolled into one, right? You've got soft hands. College boys are stupid. No one knows what they're doing. Like, he only treated Brody with a little bit of respect because Brody didn't pretend to be a water person, you know? So he kind of helped Brody out a little bit, but Hooper, he was, and again, maybe because, again, the actors actually did hate each other. So, anyway. Also, Quint, the actor, got $0 for this movie.
Really?
He got a paycheck, but like a lot of usually when you have your main actors, they get, it's called points. You get a percentage of the movie. He had to forgo his because he was being chased by the IRS. So he was like, I can't make that much money, kind of a thing. So Robert Shaw has some rough life things. And no one else is going to do this kind of thing. So it's the Moby Dick trope, you know. Quint, when he breaks the radio, you know, he's going to pull an Ahab kind of a deal. In fact, he was supposed to die like Ahab and get caught in the rope that he shoots the spear. You know, he shoots the spear gun, and then he gets caught in one of the barrels and goes and drowns. But they changed it to getting bitten in half because that's way better. That's it. That's all I got. I got nothing else.
All right.
Normally we do the recasting game. I for one hope they never remake this. Now they make other shark movies, right? They just did that shallow water thing with Blake Lively, which the only reason why I would watch is because Blake Lively is super attractive and she's in a bathing suit the whole movie. But otherwise, I have no intention of watching that. So I don't know. Do we want to do the recasting game? You want to say they're going to remake this?
I don't think so.
Don't think so?
I don't think Spielberg would let him. No.
Yeah, I don't think they would either. I mean, I guess unless you made like a fifth one, right? You just call it Jaws 5.
Yeah.
You know, and have different characters and whatever, but set in the same place, then we could do that. We can play that game. But instead of remaking it, we're just or rebooting it, whatever. But you know, who do you get? I don't know. Your grizzled captain could be I don't know. Who's a grizzly? Danny Trejo. No.
Jeff Bridges.
Johnny Trejo.
Yeah. Jeff Bridges can play Krusty pretty good because he did that in True Grit. I can see him doing that. That's a good one. He can grow out a beard too. In fact, and then you can do your you could do like Matt Damon as the nerd, as the science guy because he already did it pretty well in The Martian. Who's your landlubber cop? Who's your awkward cop? Who plays really like kind of
straight and narrow?
Yeah.
Tom Hanks.
Yeah, he's a little young or a little old, don't you think? Get somebody younger.
Yeah, I guess he is getting kind of old.
Chris Evans.
Really?
He's pretty straight-laced.
I guess. You said
I could see that.
You actually said Chris Evans, and my brain pictured Chris Pratt for some reason.
Chris Pratt. Yeah, that's mine did too. The very first thing it went to.
I was like, because I immediately thought of him like doing the hand thing with the Raptors, but to the shark. Chris Evans, that could work. Speaking of Chris Evans, whatever. But I was at a friend's place today. No, where was I? I was at my parents' house, and I was flipping through TV because we had a showing here, and Push was on TV, and I want to just sit there and watch it with my parents. Have you guys seen Push?
I like Push.
Oh, it's such a good movie.
You're the one that told me about it. Oh, if I remember right.
Did you? And you watched it? Okay, that makes me happy. I love that movie so much. I own it on DVD. Go figure. But if it ever gets to streaming, I want to do it for the podcast because it's like this movie that not very many people saw, and it's so good. And it's not streaming on Netflix, but that's okay. Anyway, sorry, Chris Evans. It just made me think of that. So it's good. Go watch it. Go find it right now. I'm trying to see if it's streaming on Amazon. I don't think it is. I can't find it. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Soundtrack grade, I give this just an A for amazing. It's just amazing. It's great. Yep. It's just fantastic. In fact, yeah, it's great. There we go. That's it. Top 3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
There.
Top 3 animal attack movies. I didn't get a list from Corny for him. He was probably too tired to do that. So Andrew.
All right. Well, I have honorable mentions of Marley and Me and
Wait, what?
Santa Paws Airbud.
Are there animal attacks in that? I wouldn't think so.
Also, I have Shawshank Redemption is another one.
I'm sorry.
So,
sorry.
number 3.
Wait. What did you say? Shawshank Redemption?
No, Shawshank Redemption.
Shawshank Redemption. Okay.
Never mind.
Is that the
it was
fifth?
a joke. It failed miserably.
Is that the fourth
we'll
Sharknado movie coming out? Because the fourth one is called The Fourth Awakens.
Yeah.
Sorry. So like you're number 3.
Okay. Number 3, a movie that I got caught watching when I was about 9 and didn't get to watch all of it, but I watched the majority of it. My parents had gotten HBO, and they didn't really think about, blocking that on my TV in my room when I was younger, and I got to see most of Pet Sematary. Oh, yeah. And then I went back and as I was older, watched it in its entirety. So for nostalgic purposes, number 3 is Pet Sematary. Number 2, Arachnophobia.
Ugh.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
That's hard. When that freaking spider in the basement. Oh, good God.
Mm-hmm. The spider in the basement never bothered me because it makes noises, which made it seem fake and puppetry. But it's the one that bites him in his slipper, and he's like, "Oh, something bit me," and this little spider scurries away, and she's like, "Oh, it's such a little thing," and he says, "Felt like a damn cougar." That has always freaked me out because that mixed with the fact that I was once bitten in the foot by a spider in my shoe, and it was because I had left my shoes in the garage overnight and then put them on the next day without checking them. And was, in fact, bit by a spider. I had a little bump on the bottom of my foot. It swelled up, got pretty gnarly and painful. And I had to have like an extra pair of I had to put 2 socks on my right foot because it hurt so bad to walk on. So ever since then, I do leave some shoes, like your lawn mowing shoes and stuff you leave in the garage. Every time I put them on, I always check. I mean, I did a flashlight and I check ever since then. So if that won't freak you out, then... I don't know what will.
All right. Number 1. This is one of my all-time top. It's probably my top 20. I don't know if it's quite in my top 10, but top 20. Sir Anthony Hopkins and Alec Baldwin in The Edge.
I've never seen it, but I wanted to.
Oh, the bear attack.
Yeah.
Good God, yeah.
It's like The Revenant before The Revenant.
Right. It's such a great movie.
Yeah.
Cool, Sam. I need to watch that movie.
Okay. Well, I've got my number 3 as Monty Python.
I was wondering
Grail.
If someone was going to do the rabbit attack.
Well, you could take something as innocent as a rabbit and make it deadly. I got to give you props.
Is it behind the rabbit? It is the rabbit. Squeak! Ah! Sorry.
Run away! Run away!
The holy hand grenade of Antioch.
My number 2 is Ghost in the Darkness.
Oh yeah, a movie we've done on Cheap Seat Reviews.
Yeah.
Which was
never seen that.
Oh, you should go
good.
back and watch it.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I think we actually liked it a lot.
I think we did too. That one didn't make it though, did it? To air?
No, did it not?
I don't think so.
I don't think it made it to air.
Oh,
It was one of our test movies.
I thought that one worked. Oh, that makes me so upset. That was such a good one. Yeah, I'm looking back. I don't see it. Damn.
Yep.
You're right. I think that was the one that I had. I recorded. Did we record at your house? No, that was.
No, that was
Starship Troopers. We recorded at your house.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Ghost in Darkness is good. We should do it again.
Yeah. And then my number one is, of course, Jurassic Park.
Yeah. Is there any doubt?
How could I not?
Oh yeah, that's fair. Maybe we should just pitch you off and said mammal attacks, even though the shark isn't a mammal, but just to exclude Sam. You would have made some argument. Oh, there actually are mammals because they infused them with the DNA of a mountain lion. And no, anyway. I don't know why you sound like that, but you don't. My honorable mention was Holy Grail. Okay,
yeah. Good. I beat you to it. Sorry.
My number 3,
No,
Lake Placid.
You love that thing.
Such a stupid
I swear
movie.
Every time we come up with this theme of attacking things or whatever, you always come up with that movie.
Yeah, there's only
with Betty White.
The Betty White line. Oh, if I had a dick, I would tell you to suck it. Oh my gosh, it's so great. And an alligator eats a helicopter. I mean, come on. Yeah. Number 2.
That's the reason I don't like it.
Is because it eats a helicopter?
Yeah.
It's super stupid. It's a dumb movie. It's fine. Actually, 2 of mine. Well, yeah, I guess if you want to count Monty Python as being stupid, fine. But 3 of my 4 are really stupid movies. Number 2 is Anaconda, with your J-Lo and your John Voight and your Ice Cube.
Can we all admit that the scariest part of Anaconda is that insect that got in the throat?
Oh my God! Yeah, the bee in his throat.
Yeah.
Oh, that part was awful. And I liked how no one on that boat questioned that how a bee would get in his air tank. They were just like, okay, that seems normal. Whatever.
You must not have, cleaned it out real well.
Yeah, sure, because wasps just like to go inside air tanks. That seems normal. Whatever. Anyway. But that was one of the first movies where I was like, ooh, hey, this Jennifer Lopez chick is kind of hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she looks the same now. My God. She was in some commercial for some hair product or something like yesterday. And I was like, gosh, she looks amazing. And my number 1, and this movie freaked me out as a kid, and it kind of, I don't know why it still works on me, but The Birds. Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds. I don't know why it just.
Oh, you mean you're not meaning Birdemic?
Not Birdemic, God no. In fact, I didn't even want to mention it in this episode because I don't want to give them credit for ever having done that movie. That movie is an offense.
Oh, I actually saw it on a list when I was searching for animal attack movies.
Yeah,
it was on a freaking list, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
I saw it too.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen it, Andrew?
Never seen it.
All right, this is literally how Birdemic is described. It is The Birds meets An Inconvenient Truth, and they basically the whole movie is, and they're beating you over the face with a dead bird with the whole movie that. The earth has been polluted by humans, and as a result, the birds are pissed and they're killing people. But the CGI birds that they use in the movie is just beyond terrible. It's like, Corel Draw birds, and when they crash into things, they explode for some reason. It's so bad. Is it something?
Well, that's what they do.
Is it something I would ever want to do for this podcast? I mean, if someone requested it, fine, because I want to make our listeners happy. But my God, it's bad, and it pisses me off because, people just invested money into this thing, and it's just ridiculous. So it would be 2 hours of me complaining about bad filmmaking, is what it would be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Our job is to kind of pull apart the movie and talk about the things that we liked and we don't like and things like that. And occasionally, because I've worked in movies and stuff like that, I will say this part was kind of good because of Jaws. That was the filming on a boat with film cameras and tape decks would have been hard as hell. And that's impressive that they filmed it. Or when we watch a movie like Sky Captain: The World of Tomorrow and go, this guy kind of did this on his own. Like, that's super impressive for what they did at the time. Like, then you watch, but then you watch this movie, Birdemic, and you're like, this is like filmmaking 101, and they screwed up. You know, like,
this is the kid that failed filmmaking 101.
Yeah, exactly. This is the guy that he only wanted to be a director. He didn't pay attention to any of the other aspects of actually making movies. So there's a scene where they're in like a house having a conversation, and they establish that there's like these huge glass windows. So instead, they put these bright ass lights on the other side of the room, so these weird cross shadows, and it doesn't make sense. It's like the sun's coming from the inside of the house. It's really like stuff like that just drives me bananas because it's bad filmmaking. Anyway, I'm sorry. No, so The Birds, yeah, that movie kind of freaked me out as a kid. It just worked on me as a kid. I don't know why, it just did. There you go. That's it. That's our podcast. That's gonna do it for us. So before there's no email this week, which is fine.
Sad.
Yeah, it is sad. It's always sad. Makes me sad. I can just reread some of our previous emails. I could reread even our hate mail, which I won't do. But
it's been a while. I take it that person stopped listening.
I guess they did. Yeah. Either that or they either have learned to love the show or it was a prank. I still don't know, but it was an elaborate prank, I guess, to just say some bad things about us. So out of 10, I didn't get Corny's out of 10, and maybe he'll tell me later. I can add it into the spreadsheet just to have it, whatever. But Andrew, you're out of 10, sir.
Okay. IMDb gives it an 8, solid 8. I'm not quite up there with it. There were a few things about the movie as far as, like I said about Quint, and some of the things I felt like could have been left out of the movie. I do give it props for being done well with the little experience and this, maybe not experience, maybe that's not the right word, but with Spielberg being new to this directing, and with the quality of equipment and the time frame in which it was shot, I do give it some credit there. So I'm going to say a 7.5.
Okay. For some reason I didn't type. Weird. Okay, here we go. 7.5. Sam.
I think I enjoy it. I think it's something you should see at least once. I'll give it a good 7.3 7.3 children in the water after the shark attacked.
No, okay. Oh, the 0.3, that's gross. I liked it a lot. I had a good time. Again, apart from Quint's, some of his, I just couldn't understand what the hell he was saying. I thought it was well paced. I liked the score, obviously. I thought the gore part was, not too bad. And again, it's not often you get a PG horror film. Of course, PG-13 wasn't invented yet. Spielberg would later invent that with Temple of Doom. But I liked this movie a lot. I thought it was well made. So I'm going to go a little higher and just say an 8. I'm going to agree with the IMDb thing and just say an 8. Just going to give it a solid 8. It makes our math nice and simple. It's an average of 7.6. So we liked it just a little bit better than The Exorcist, I mean.
Okay.
So, and just a little bit higher than Contact, just to put that to, again, without Corny's numbers, I don't know. That's it. That's our episode. So next week, you, the voter, again, as of the time of the recording of this episode, which is what we have to go off of, the next movie on the list for votes is going to be Event Horizon.
Oh, good God.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk about a horror movie.
It is very horror movie. It is very R. I have seen it before, and it scared the shit out of me because we've talked about this on movies and sports and things. When your reaction to a thing is dependent upon your expectation of the thing, right? So if you expect a movie to be bad, and then you watch it and you had a good time with it, then you're kind of like, oh, that was great. I had zero expectations on Hot Fuzz to be a good movie and loved it. I had zero expectations on Tucker and Dale versus Evil and loved it because of those things, right? So when I saw Event Horizon for the first time, and I was in high school, like 16, 15, I thought, well, I can tell you exactly when it came out, but I thought it was just a space adventure thing with some weird things happening, like some... 97, yeah. So that would have been, by the time it had gotten to me on HBO, it would have been probably about 98. So yeah, I was a junior in high school. So my expectation was this is just going to be a kind of weird, like a 2001 Space Odyssey kind of a thing, like kind of weird things are happening. No, this is a horror film. It's just in space. So, hopefully you don't get queasy because there's some gross things in it. So, have either one of you seen it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
No.
All right. So, Andrew, just don't eat while you're watching the movie. Just seriously, this is your warning. Don't watch it with the kids. It is violent and... it will be interesting. This might be one I watch in the daytime. I don't know. Actually, I could probably do it at night. It's not that scary. It's actually not any creepier than The Exorcist. But so there you go. So Event Horizon, and our final movie of our Oktoberfest movies. Again, as of this moment of recording, will be Tremors, which I'm super excited for. So we're gonna have 3 super serious, super earnest horror movies, and we're going to end with slapstick bugs trying to eat people from underground. So with Reba McEntire.
They're graboids. Come on.
Yeah, graboids.
Right. They're graboids.
With Kevin Bacon and your other people. So, but Event Horizon's next week, so stay tuned for that. There you go. That's going to do it for us. Right? I'm not forgetting anything. No, I'm not. Good. Crap. Has anyone started watching Luke Cage yet?
I have.
Yeah.
I haven't started.
Pretty good.
Yet. I just haven't had time.
Yeah. I love the theme.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to describe it. It's just enough funk to be cool.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Does that make sense?
No. Yeah. Sure.
It's just the atmosphere is just so cool. Yeah.
Have they done any kind of like nods to the fact that the rest of the MCU exists yet?
Oh yeah.
I'm still waiting. It's not taken off like Jessica Jones or Daredevil yet for me, and maybe I just haven't made it through far enough in the episodes. But
yeah,
I haven't bought into it yet.
All right.
I think I'm on like 5 or 6.
Oh really?
Yeah.
So I'm only on 3. So, well, I mean, I'm wondering where it's going to go because, yeah, interesting. Okay, well, I'll keep going.
So anyway, that's it. That's going to do it for us. So cool. I just didn't know if you guys started. I haven't had a chance to start watching it yet. I've just been too busy. For those who care, this episode that you hear, regardless of when you hear it, as we record, will be the last time I record in this house. We have, I have gotten a new job and am moving to a new state. So our podcast will be interstate something. I don't know. Not interdimensional. Interstatal. Sandman. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, there you go. So that's kind of cool, I guess, and sad and whatever. But no, what is not sad is iTunes. Leave us a review there, and we will love you for it. Leave us check out our website, cheapseatreviews.com. If you want to vote and change what we watch for the final episode, you can, but we're locked in for next week for Event Horizon. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/cheapseatreviews. Follow us on Twitter @cheapseatcast. I am @SeanJRRed. @AJimison is Andrew. @JohnnyDarko16 is Corny. And @Saniji16 is Sam. Please send us your emails to cheapseatreviews@gmail.com. That's going to do it. This was fun. Jaws, what a good movie. But I'm glad we got to watch it again. Can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about Event Horizon. And there we go. So on behalf of Andrew, Corny, who hopefully made it home safely, Sam, this is Sean saying thank you for listening. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.